So recently, Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's a guy, black man that deals with finances and black issues also, had his Instagram and his Facebook banned. Let's hear what he had to say.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. Today, I got some crazy news. I was really shocked by this. I have been banned on Instagram and Facebook. Just out of the blue, Instagram and Facebook decided to cut my accounts. I have over about 500,000 people on Instagram and several million on Facebook. And they chopped off our accounts today. And I think it had to do with this. I think this is the culprit. Yesterday, I was reading some Dr. Anderson stuff from Powernomics. And also I read from his book, Black Labor, White Wealth. We were doing our Powernomics training that we do every week for free in the Black Business School. And literally, there's a section that I read where Dr. Anderson explained how the immigration policies have harmed black people. And I don't know if that was the exact trigger, but I believe it was the comments about immigration that got me banned. And so literally, there's nothing you can do about it. It happens, that's life. We're working on it. I'd call in lawyers. If anybody knows any good lawyers, if you happen to be a good lawyer and you want to help us fight on this case, just email manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com. So I'm going to give you some ways we can stay connected. I'm going to tell you like this. When I first started doing what I was doing, what I do now, I knew that I was going to war. I knew that America really isn't ready for black men who tell the truth the way I tell the truth. And also, I'm pretty smart, so I know a lot about what's going on. I've been very consistent about things. So I kind of expected this to happen. This isn't the first time that we've been attacked by the social media gods. They literally, that's what they do. It's their platforms. That's how they behave. So, and I don't have a lot of time to address it right now. I'm going to come back and address it in more detail, but I wanted to let you guys know what's going on in case you were following me on Instagram. I didn't block you or anything like that. But there's ways we can stay connected. Number one, with this podcast, we are on Spotify also. So if you go to Spotify and look up Boyce Watkins, you'll find my podcast on Spotify.
So here we are. His Instagram and Facebook is banned. Boyce Watkins is a pretty good dude. Some people don't like his ways or say that he's a fraud or this and that. And that. I haven't seen any proof to believe that he's a fraud, but he's a dude that discusses finances and black issues and trying to help black people, elevate. And he was discussing some of Claude Anderson's, who is definitely like a pro-black, who has dove into the history of black folks and what's going on right now also with black folks and how to help us open our eyes and progress. But in discussing that, they never tell you exactly what it was that triggered them to ban your page. But I'm like, banning his whole Facebook and Instagram, and he said he had millions of followers on each. Do you know how much that's some money? That's a decent amount of change that they have now stripped him from. And it is what it is. You have to play by the rules on these platforms, but I don't know that there is an exact rule that says he broke, I don't know, man. It just seems weird to me. It isn't weird, but it's the way the world works. That on Instagram, Facebook, all these Twitter, all these social media platforms, they will replay deaths of people, just over and over again. Namely, black folk have been a part of that replaying, people getting shot, killed, or whatever. They will replay that over and over and over. They allow as much debauchery as can be allowed on these platforms. Like they, as long as it's promoting degeneracy and sex and black folk being ghetto, and not just black folk, but just, what I'm saying, ignorant stuff. It's always accepted. It's always promoted. It's always pushed to the top of the algorithm. Black beef, when they got each other beefing against each other, all these things that end up in black folk shooting and killing and doing more violence to each other and this, that, and another. And listen, it cannot all be placed as far as the blame on, they or them. Because black folk, we are actively participating in these type of things. Like, if we ain't shooting people in the face, then, we not having these conversations. But I'm just going to say, it's funny that on these platforms, they will promote so many things that is, just like Ice Cube was having a conversation with Bill Maher the other day. And they were talking about how the private people who own like record labels and stuff like that also own or have financial interest in private prisons. And it's a pipeline from the music industry to the prisons in the fact of the way that they, hey, you might want to do this type of song or some type of uplifting song. Cool, you could do that. That's an album cut. But if you want to do something, your singles and your this, that, and the other, the thing that we're going to get behind you and promote, the major labels, they are going to promote the most raunchy, the most violent, the most, this, that, and the other, beef back and forth between black. They're going to promote all the stuff that's going to have a lot of lower average men and women operating on this wavelength to end up right in the private prison system, in which they will be doing work, what was it saying, like 30 cents a day or something like that, to produce products that people will then sell and make money off of. It's a lot of social engineering going on, and it's sad that when you do want to speak on stuff, and I don't know what Boyce exactly said or if it was worthy of him being banned, but he doesn't come across to me as the type of guy that would, purposely go that far over the line, you know what I'm saying, to offend people. So I can't say that I would see something that Boyce is saying to be like, I want to know what type of guidelines he violated. What was the reason? What was the community guidelines that was violated to say that this was not warning worthy? What line did he step over to get placed in this position? But it is what it is, man. It's like, it's part of the game, because when you own other people's platforms, you got to play by their rules. And so we all do our best to give our points of view without being offensive, to not hurt nobody while we talk. You know what I'm saying? But we all have opinions on certain things, and some of them are not as popular. But it's just sad to see in this day and age that even though, like, okay, why does everybody's opinion have to be cookie cutter? Like, when people have an opinion that is outside of the box, yeah, it may make some people mad. Makes me mad when I hear certain people's opinion that is off or whatever. But it doesn't mean that they are not entitled to their opinion. I believe they should be able to speak their mind. I should be able to speak mine. But in this day and age, everything is so, you got to tiptoe around everything, because you don't know what you're going to say that's going to make them say, you know what, no more for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's a tough place to be in when you are making as much money as Dr. Boyce Watkins on these platforms. That's a lot of bread you just took out of his pocket. You know what I'm saying? And especially for something that you can't pinpoint what it was or what, that's just a rough spot to be in. Like, whether you agree with Dr. Boyce Watkins or not, I can say that I think we all agree that cutting his money, banning his channels with no warning, or with it, I think that's a bit much, man. I think it could at least been a warning to let them know, hey, what you did, where you overstepped or whatever. But I just do find it funny that so much other bull is able to constantly replay and replay and replay. But when it comes to people trying to discuss some issues intelligently, but certain people don't like it, and then it ends up in, strip your whole channel. But that's the risk you run, man, on people's platforms. So it's your boy P. Camp. Let me know what you think, but you don't think. Get at your boy.